pieces that I picked up out of the Dev-Touch pile. And let me see if I can give you a couple of pointers here or so. First let me do, okay, let me show you about, well, possibly about 3 ways. The big problem, of course, in doing this flaking is to get that flake to start. That's the work involved. When it releases, then it'll do whatever it's programmed to do. So let's see if I can maybe give you some little advice here, maybe some pointers. First, as to how to approach it. There's about 3 different ways. Of course, you can put the pressure. Well, let's see. One way is to put the pressure and then just kind of rotate the left hand up slightly. I don't know though, that's not really, I think it's the best, but if you can get the flake to start by just adding old shear, that's S-H-W-R, pressure, because you're going to S-H-E-A-R, the flake, see? Okay, let's see, to start it, just start pushing. And of course it takes a lot of power. That's the name of this game, power. In fact, but with the legs working as a leverage, you can develop that. After all, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm, well, 80 years old, and I'm only a 150-pounder to start with, and I've lost a lot of strength here lately. That's why I like to use these gadgets that I built here that I can get a better grip on. In that last, well, sometimes my hand slips because I can't grip it. Okay, let's see. First, it's maybe best, well, not necessarily best, but let's just start, see what happens here. I'm just going to push straight. And if you can get the flake to start release by just pushing straight, that's okay, that's fine. Let's see what happens here. Well, okay, I did, and I want you to, yeah, let me show you something here. Here, okay, look where that flake went, all the way over. And I want you to look at this, how much crown there is in this piece. Look where that flake went all the way over to here. That is, when you can do that, you can say that you're doing it like those paleo people did. So you run that flake over a lens or oval shape, especially with that much crown in it. Look how much crown there is in there. Okay, that was one way. Now let me see here. Of course, that knock that little tit off there because it's sticking up too high. Makes a concavity. We never want a concavity, we want a convexity. Let's see if I can do it now. And then the other way is you build up your pressure, mucho, let me get it up here, you keep it up against that pad, build up that pressure, build up the pressure and rotate the right hand just slightly. There we go. See what I did? It has a prying action, like a candle. Now I want you to look there, that flake there, of course it broke up into a lot of little pieces. And when you hold it down, look there, went all the way over here. When you hold it down with this pad, in this fashion, that's what allows that flake to remain on there. And when it breaks up, look at all that little stuff in there. Even though it broke up, all those little pieces remained on that flake as it went over until it went through its course there. And the reason it can do that is you hold it down and you don't let it release until one broken one piece pushes the other and so forth. Just like a train when it backs up. One car pushes the other and so forth. Okay, maybe that will give you an idea. Now, like I say, if you're just want to practice, just pick up any old piece of shirt. If you're like me, you're going to find it. Some of this material is hard to come by. That's my big problem. But just pick up any old piece of chert and just start flaking on it and see what happens. Let's see. Oh, there's another one. Look at that one. Get out of the picture. I'm using telephoto here. I like to get it up as close as I can because I want you to see that flake. Look at that flake went all the way back over here. But that's what you do. Just pick up a piece of chert and look how fragile that was, and start flaking on it. I don't have my waste basket handy. I put that in. I'll just leave it in there for the time being. Never prepared. Okay, and we just, okay, now you always want to look for that platform. All of you experienced snappers know what a platform is. That's that little hump right there, and here's your ridge. Your ridge that acts as a backbone to support that next flake to be removed. That's where your parallel flaking technique comes in, and you want to observe that when you can. Now, you don't have to. You don't always have to make that beautiful ripple pattern to take advantage of this technique. So many of the Indians, after the Yuma, Allen, and the Angostura people, they developed that parallel flaking and really perfected it to a fine degree. But after that, the Indians used this method, but for some reason they didn't know that they could make that beautiful ripple pattern. But they still use the same principle, whereby you use the pad as a damping effect anyway. Okay, let me make another. Okay, well, okay, there they go. But maybe that'll help you. Something that I failed to tell you maybe, that you don't have to have the buffalo horn, that the cow's horn works equally as well. Look at how thin that flake is. And it is fragile. It's amazing how that works, holding that flake down, shearing it off that way, okay? But boy, did it ever mess up the other edge of that. That would be, okay, now you'd have to resharpen that some way. You got to reflake this side and work up to it, because with this type flaking, you do not work, you cannot make flakes into a flat edge this way. If you were a copper tool napper, you'd probably do it. But at the same time, well, you can see what happened here. And like I say, the Indians, they knew better. They just didn't, they didn't have that problem. Okay, this is a mesquite limb. And it's roughly about 4 feet long. Mesquite limb. And it's roughly about 4 feet long. Forkage, mesquite limb. Crooked is, you know what? Crooked as a snake. Okay. Here's the other hope to maybe find out if it's possible for those fluted points to be made with a leverage device. I can't believe that they were all made by percussion. Anyway, a little pumped up deal here. Not a very good example of a point, but we'll see. I'm going to put some, there it goes. Whammo. Huh, how about that? Okay. Now let's look at that. Hope I get that lighting. I've got too much light coming in from the ceiling in this shop out here. It glares it out, but I hope you can see that flute. It's from one end to the other. So I think what this could possibly prove that it's possible to use a simple mesquite limb. Well, no, not a mesquite. I bet you they wouldn't settle with an old crooked limber green mesquite. They'd find a better tool than that. But look at that. That's just my first try here. So I think that I'm going to try to prove that it's very possible that the Clovis people used a simple leverage device, and this would be simple, just an old mesquite limb with a piece of deer antler. Of course, I'm using hay wire up here. I could use sinew, okay? Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's a nice flute. Oh, yeah, it's just some chirp. Don't know how it worked, but I made it. It's a pretty nice little point. And we're going to see here what happens here when we attempt to flute it with this old crooked mesquite limb. I'm using the same old mesquite limb. I went down to the airport. I couldn't find anything better, so actually it's about 6 months old now, and it's stiffer than it was, which means I can put a little more pressure on it than I could before. Let's see what happens here. Whammo. That's another successful whammo. Incidentally, that whammo is a paleo word, and this makes number 4 without a mistake. It looks more like Folsom stuff there. Still a bit limber. I would like to be able to give it more pressure. It takes about 300 pounds of pressure to really produce a nice flute. Ow! It's hard to keep the picture. Man, that went all the way. Here, I've got this thing on telephoto, and it's put it on a wide angle here, so I don't have to struggle so much to try to keep it in there. Boy, that is a flute. Now, what we're going to do, I heard that, okay. Ooh, how about that? You know, that's a better flute than the other side. I didn't put enough pressure on the other side. And another one, all the way. That's number 7 without a complete failure. see it. See it right down there. I'm going to see if I can knock. Yeah, there it comes. Okay. Yeah. Oh, that made a real nice flute out of it. This is about the kind of flute I like to see. Just about right. This is a softer material, and my old limber green mesquite limb, since it's not, I can't really put the pressure on those tougher type points to get the wider flute, but on this softer material I could. Okay, here we go. If this should make a nice flute, this is the other side. If it should flute well, then this will be, well, we'll see. I'm hoping for a good flute. That way we'll make a nice closed type point. Oh boy, just right. I don't know as it could be better. Now, if I can trim up this bass a little without ruining it, and this is what happens a lot of times with me. Yeah, okay, here is the finished product. It's got two flutes, almost exactly the way off one of them, just about 1/8 of an inch longer. Flute a point without having to flute a big piece and then work it down, as a lot of people believe that most of the points were made that way, and I hope that I can disprove that theory. Oh, boy, that is a very nice flute. It's a bit longer than I'd hoped to make. I'm going to have to start making Cumberlands. About the 13th, I think, flute that I've made with this forked mesquite limb that has turned out okay. The other side. Okay. Looks all right from here. Not a real wide flute. It's not as long as the other one, but it's still a flute. Not bad. Could have been wider. What I could do here by flaking and making a Cumberland type. You see what I did? I worked it in, but at the same time, you can see these flakes invaded the channel just slightly and kind of reduced its width slightly. So, but anyway, it did make a point, I guess. If you are the amateur archaeologist like myself, and for one reason or the other you did not become a professional, and for one reason or the other you did not have access to one, then do what I did. Okay, then you can join the American Society for Amateur Archaeologists. This society was organized by Dr. Michael Gramley of Buffalo, New York, for the sole purpose of serving amateurs like myself and very possibly like you. There's so many benefits, so I won't try to give you all the benefits, but here's the address. You can write and get that information, okay?